So beautiful to see the happy faces of people, Guruji, enjoying how all of these moments bring everybody together in the worship of God.
Absolutely. And the best is always the people who are down doing the Abhishekam, they get also Abhishekam from Guruji because he pours it on everybody.
Because it's precious. So, Jai Gurudev, Pandita Nikunja, welcome.
Jai Gurudev.
Thank you for coming. We have invited you more specifically because we know that you like so much sadhana, spiritual practice. You're a big lover of it. You do a lot of it for many, many years. And recently Guruji tweeted again that Shiva is the Lord of Yoga. So maybe you can help us and help people at home to understand better the connection with yoga and the spiritual practice related also to tonight and Bhakti Marga.
Yes, thank you so much. And it's true. I have been a lover of sadhana, intensely so. And for 17 years at least, I would say longer, depending on how we define spiritual practice, but in a traditional sense, 17 years. And when I met Guruji, I was shared Atma Kriya Yoga, which is one of the main sadhanas here in Bhakti Marga. And the beautiful thing about Atma Kriya is that it transformed my idea of what sadhana actually is for. Because before it was, of course, there was this, inner longing to be in a relationship with the divine, but still coming from a more, you said, the Lord of Yoga, right? But for Westerners, oftentimes our relationship to yoga is either it's about the physical practice or having some kind of transcendental, energetic experience, not so much about that devotional relationship with divine. And so when I learned Atma Kriya Yoga, it completely changed my relationship to sadhana. And yes, I did hours of sadhana in the past. I thought that's what was necessary, and perhaps it was necessary for the time being. But again, with Atma Kriya and the orientation being that about devotion to the divine, it became less about needing all these hours to attain some kind of state of being, either energetically or even physically, but how present can I be with the divine now? In this moment, as I'm practicing this sadhana, Atma Kriya Yoga specifically, right now. And so within our tradition, Shiva being, the greatest bhakta and bhakti being devotion to the divine, this kind of single-pointedness that he has and that, yogis have, or what we can cultivate through sadhana, it becomes about not just attaining some later result, but being completely present in the now. And Guruji keeps speaking about that a lot, actually, recently. For those that listen to his satsangs, he's talking a lot about the present moment. And so my relationship to sadhana now, and to Shiva also, has changed in that it's about being with the divine now. How can I bring the quality of my practice with not necessarily needing 2 hours delegated, 3-4 hours even I used to do. So it's been a transformation.
I think what you're saying is very important and beautiful for anybody who listens, because sometimes spirituality is so much separated from the daily duties, the daily tasks. But if you put it in that sense that you do the things with devotion, then everything can become a spiritual practice. And you as Pandita, you have a family, you have a husband, you have a child, and maybe you can exactly. Maybe you can share a little bit how this all can come together and is not a separated thing, because I think that's something often people have the greatest struggle or also excuse.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing that up, because that's another thing Guruji has been emphasizing a lot. The presence, being present in the now, to experience the divine is right now, only now. But also to bring this sort of practice into the day-to-day life, into, little moments of your life. He's been talking about micro disciplines. So it's good to have this chapters or seasons of your life where you have strong discipline in a sort of tangible technical sadhana or practice. But ultimately, to really progress, and by the grace of the Sadguru, honestly, because at least in my experience, to really integrate, as you're saying, was not possible without him. To be able to bridge that sadhana, that time in sadhana into day-to-day life became more possible through his grace, ultimately. But also he speaks a lot about effort, and so at a certain point, we have to choose. We have to choose to implement that, practice, what we receive in that practice or presence in the interaction with your husband or the baby. And I mean, I have a memory from some time ago from a teacher who said that having a baby is like doing a 21-year Vipassana. For those that don't know, Vipassana is a silent meditation technique that's usually 10 days in silence. This teacher was saying having a baby is like a 21-year Vipassana. And so this kind of positioning one's daily life as a practice in that way, you have to, in your mind, say it and then choose to do it. That's the effort that we have to give, to remind yourself in the interactions you're having with, your family members, or even if you're in the ashram, the sangha. Now is the time to practice. Also, you tell yourself that, not just when you're sitting in your seated meditation.
Yeah, it's such an important point. I think also connecting the both things that you said, because moving away spirituality from a goal-oriented endeavor, like as an effort of like just attaining something. I'm gonna stay awake tonight for 12 hours and I will be liberated. Like that's how many people would love it. It's like, let me do a 1 hour meditation. Let me do meditation for a week. And I will reach that state. I will do out-of-body experiences. I will read the mind of people. Because it's exciting for the mind. But actually what truly yoga is, and that's the really exciting part, is this constant practice of these principles in everything that you do. And because of that, you really become awake. Because you're not looking for just 1 second of being awake. You're just trying to actually stay wide awake, like we're going to practice tonight.
Yes, and that it's not a business of I do this to get this, but in the path of bhakti, like you said, Atma Kriya Yoga, and also how Shiva gives his example, it is a continuous remembrance of God, because we are part of him, and the highest purpose is to be in this love relationship with him. In this partial incarnation of Shiva as Hanuman, he does everything. He takes care of everything, but nothing is ever separated from his sweet Lord Ram. And in the same way, we are also called to live our daily life in everything and have always the number one very clear. God is number one. And if we have that, I think there's no more separation between family life, job life, and sadhana.
So the example of tonight, Nikunja, for you, like staying awake all this time, connected to sadhana, what does it mean, and what are we going to do? Let's say some of the people watching at home, they decide to stay awake with us. What are they doing?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful in Sanatana Dharma. There's so many opportunities to, have an external experience that engages the senses, like you said, and in bhakti, we engage our senses through the chanting or singing of devotional music, which we're going to do a lot of that tonight, all night long, and the Abhishekam, and using all the elements and physically offering to the divine. But to do this all night long, it's sort of like, in a simple way, we can say, an external reminder of staying awake, being awake and being aware within our life, because Shiva is also that awareness, right? And Guruji often says, and he doesn't need to say it, we know, we're often just sleeping. We're awake, but we're sleepwalking, Yeah. And so to stay awake all night is just like one of Sanatana Dharma's brilliant ways, and I'm sure there's some astrological things, but I won't talk about that. But to remind ourselves of the deeper truth, which is to be awake, be aware in our life.
Nice, and I think perfectly in line with what you just said. Maybe, I know you wanted to bring a couple of minutes of a meditation that will just lead us towards then the very long event that is waiting for us. So maybe we can have this meditation together now.
Beautiful, yeah. So maybe we can all just close our eyes. It'll be only a few minutes. The meditation is inspired by something Guruji shares in Silent Retreat, in which everyone goes out into the forest and brings a candle and meditates on the flame. So if you're at home and you actually have a candle and you want to light it symbolically, feel free. Otherwise, just imagine in this moment that you're lighting a flame right in between your eyes, your eyebrows, right in the center. Lighting this flame, which represents the inner flame of awareness of who you truly are. And just send all of your single pointed focus towards that flame. If the attention wavers, just bring it back. Bring it back to the flame. And in the same way, as we carry on through the night, when the mind wanders, just close your eyes if you need to, and remember this flame, which represents that awareness of being awake, being present. Close your eyes and remember the flame, and then come back. Or go even deeper into the mantra, or be even more present with the Abhishekam, and practice having this awareness of that flame, that inner flame, also with the eyes open. Because meditation, while it happens inwardly, is something to be carried outwardly with every step. So may that flame remain fully lit throughout the entirety of your beautiful Maha Shivaratri. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you. We will go to the temple and start the event officially.
Jai Gurudev, happy
Jai
Shivaratri.
Gurudev.